Mica Galvao was originally supposed to face Nicky Ryan at Who's Number 1, but Nicky Ryan did get injured, and so his teammate Kenta Iwamoto, also from B Team, stepped in as a replacement to take on Mica Galvao. After about a minute of stand-up exchanges, we do see that Kenta is looking to get those double underhooks, so Mica naturally wants to also get inside position, and then Kenta uses that to his advantage and he pushes Mica's right elbow out of the way. He uses his right foot to hook onto Mica's right leg. That allows him to grab that leg with his left arm, and because he has the underhook on the right side, he's able to perform a nice takedown, but without any sort of hesitation, Mica immediately attacks for the armbar as they're going down. Kenta is able to base up so he doesn't get flipped over from the armbar, and he's also looking to scramble his way out. Mica really wants to get his shin over Kenta's head, and that's going to allow him to drive his head down and start flipping over his opponent. Also, he really wants to have his hips over the shoulder, and that's going to allow him to secure the armbar. Kenta is able to scramble to get his shoulder out of position. Eventually, he does get his elbow free from Mica's hips, and that allows him to get out of the armbar. But as he goes around to turn towards Mica to keep top position, Mica uses his right foot to hook Kenta's leg, and that gives him a tiny bit of space to be able to base out, do a technical stand-up, and end up in a neutral wrestling position again. So already some crazy action. Kenta with a great takedown and Mica with ridiculous reactions to attack while he's being taken down. One of Mica's best attributes is that he never hesitates. After a little bit of hand fighting, Kenta dives in for a single leg, and this time instead of getting the underhook, Kenta goes over Mica's shoulder and he's able to do a similar wrestling takedown as he did before. But now that his arm is over the shoulder, Mica is able to threaten a shoulder crunch arm lock, which Kenta is aware of, and he's able to throw over his right leg past Kenta's arm and lock up a triangle as well. And it looks like it's tight, but Kenta commits to leaning to his left side, and now the triangle angle is not as great as it was before, and so Mica decides to transition into an armbar now. Kenta tries to roll out of it, but Mica does a good job of not letting him, and so Kenta is forced to squirm in different positions, just trying to find any sort of angle to avoid the armbar, get to his back, and you see that he's able to lift Mica's left ankle with his left arm, and then he's able to insert both arms in between his legs and pop back up. Mica is showing once again that even if he gets taken down, he is going to be dangerous everywhere in every second of the match. So after a little bit of hand fighting from the standing position again, Kenta goes for another single leg, but once again, Mica locks up a guillotine on him and starts threatening a submission as soon as he's taken down. Kenta does try to posture up, he isn't able to, so the next best thing he can do is bring his elbow and knee together. That way Mica's right leg isn't able to wrap around his body. Kenta still has to defend this guillotine, so he pops through the hole that he made and gets to his back, so the angle isn't as tight, but he does have to give up bottom position from here, and it still looks pretty tight. But Mica does recognize that he has 12 minutes left in the match and he probably doesn't want to burn out his arms this early into the match, and so he gives it up. Kenta is able to get back into a half guard position, but it's a dangerous half guard because Mica's hips are past Kenta's knee shield. Also, Mica has a full head and arm grip. So this is a very strong position for Mica to start passing Kenta's guard. Mica extends his leg, and initially it looks like he's going for the knee cut pass, but Kenta is keeping his knees very high to defend. Mica then decides to switch his hips and put pressure on Kenta's hips. So it looks like he's using a hip switch position while he has the head and arm, and this forces Kenta's legs to face to his left side. And because his legs are facing to the left side, his legs can't point up. That does allow Mica to use the hip switch to get past Kenta's legs and to settle into side control. He doesn't waste much time and transitions into mount as well. You can see that Mica is trying to isolate Kenta's left arm, but Kenta does have a good frame on Mica's hips on the right side, which stops Mica's hips from climbing further up Kenta's body. Kenta is able to sneak his left hand into Mica's throat, which creates a frame. And now that he has a frame on Mica's hips and also on Mica's throat, that's when he starts to explode, and he's able to get his right knee near his elbow to create space for Mica's hips, and Mica is forced to back off from the mount, and during the scramble, Kenta is able to stand back up into a wrestling position. So it looks like both competitors would prefer to stay on top, even though Mica has shown that he is very dangerous from bottom position. So again, after some hand fighting, Kenta once again goes for that single leg. You see that Mica has adjusted and started posting his left arm on Kenta's right wrist, and that stops him from getting that counter pressure that he needs to take down Mica. Now this is really important because this keeps the fight standing, and this gives an opportunity for Mica to get some offense going on the feet. So we see that Mica gets inside position on his right side. He has his left hand on Kenta's tricep on his left side, and then he extends his leg for a foot sweep. He pushes with his upper body, and that puts Kenta off balance. Mica immediately pounces on top of him, and he's able to maintain top pressure from here. So now we see that Mica enters Kenta's half guard. He's trying to put that pressure on him, trying to get some head control, and when he finds this space, he tries to go for a knee cut pass. But Kenta is able to use his knees and his legs to keep inside position, so Mica cannot settle in side control. He keeps his right knee very close to his body, and he also uses his left leg to leg swipe, and he's able to retain his open guard. Mica sees that his legs are high, so he does try to go for a stacking pass. Kenta uses both grips to grab onto Mica's arms, and he's able to push Mica's grips up, which breaks Mica's grips, and he's able to get his legs back involved to get back into half guard. It looks like Mica is trying to do a similar pass that he was doing before by grabbing the back of the head, also using his right arm to get under Kenta's left arm and head to connect his grip. Kenta does a good job of stripping that grip off of him, and once Mica's body is a little bit overcommitted on top of Kenta, Kenta loads Mica's hips over his own hips and looks like he might be going for a leg lock, but Mica is aware of it and he jumps out of danger and back into a neutral standing position. So while Mica was threatening to pass on top, Kenta does a good job of creating a scramble, and that allows him to get back into a wrestling position where he probably wants to be in this match. So once again, Kenta does a great job of diving on Mica's legs. He isn't able to get Mica's right leg this time, but he does a great job of transitioning to the left leg. But once again, Mica, with no hesitation, looks to start attacking an armbar, or what a lot of people would call the Choi bar from this position. Kenta does an interesting defense from here, where he's able to go from his hips facing downwards to jumping to his left side. So now he's on his butt and his hips are facing to the side. You can see that Mica tried to stop this motion with his right foot. It looks like he's trying to hook Kenta's leg, and because his hips aren't facing down anymore, that forces Mica to lose the angle for the armbar. Mica does try to do a technical stand-up, but Kenta definitely wants to stay on top, and so he stops the technical get up, and they are squared up with each other with Kenta and Mica's closed guard. Kenta gets both of his grips in Mica's armpits and looks to stand up, and Mica breaks his closed guard, tries to push Kenta off of him, but we see that Kenta turns his hip to the right side, so Mica isn't able to launch him as far as he wants to, and that allows Kenta to keep the pressure on, and it doesn't allow for Mica to get back up. So this is definitely a position that Kenta was fighting for this whole match, where he wanted to be on top, put that pressure down on Mica. But as I've mentioned many times, Mica's guard is no joke and he is dangerous from everywhere. Kenta looks like he's trying to go for a body lock style pass, but Mica has very flexible and heavy hips. Mica has a great omoplata position and a great bite with his left leg without even grabbing his own ankle. He uses that to break Kenta's posture, and he does try to attempt an armbar from here. He doesn't quite get Kenta's elbow below his hip line, so Kenta is able to fight out of it. Now, because the ref is in the way, I'm not sure exactly what movements led to space being created, but Mica was able to create some space and he's able to get back into the standing position again. Mica starts playing with Kenta's head, and because he's putting a lot of force down, Kenta uses that to his advantage and he's able to execute a beautiful double leg. And just like before, it looks like he's trying to go for some sort of body lock pass. And one of the main components for a body lock pass, the side that you're trying to pass, you want to bring that knee to the floor.
My next aim is bring my left leg past off his leg here. You can see while he's flat here, that's going to be a difficult task. In fact, I might get off balance and swept. I try to do that. So that hooks with me. Yes. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to have to turn his hips to the right, sprawl, still keep pressure on that leg. I roll my hips, and I can set my leg past the line of that leg.
And Mica is very aware of this, so he is making sure that his right knee is always facing up, and he's using his arms to deny Kenta's ability to get to his hips. Right at the moment where Kenta is not facing completely towards Mica and faces a little bit too much to his left side, Mica uses that to throw up his left leg again in another omoplata position, and this time it's a very tight bite, and then he starts committing for an armbar. Kenta is able to get his shoulder out, and so while it looks like the armbar is still dangerous, Kenta initially has his shoulder out. Mica is looking to adjust, and Kenta is doing everything he can to make sure he doesn't get flipped over to his back. Mica knows that he's not going to be able to get the armbar, so he does bail on it. Kenta looks like he tries to go for a shot, but it's denied when he's able to get the head and arm grip. So now we have Kenta in turtle. Mica still has the head and arm grip. First, Mica brings his left arm over to Kenta's left side, and then he brings his right arm to Kenta's right side and starts to look for the seatbelt grip. Kenta is trying to deny the hooks, and so he tries to extend his right arm to stop Mica's legs. But as I mentioned before, Mica does have flexible legs. He's able to bring his legs over Kenta's right arm, and now Kenta's right arm is actually trapped. Now that Mica has one arm trapped, he's looking to switch from the seatbelt grip and then grabs Kenta's left wrist, and he's able to extend that out. So now Kenta has no arms to fend, and then Mica starts going for the choke with his right arm. And as soon as he feels like his right arm is sunk in enough, that's when he lets go of the left wrist, brings it back behind Kenta's head, and then he's able to secure the rear naked choke from there. Overall, I thought this was an excellent performance from both guys. Kenta Iwamoto is a really good grappler. I think his wrestling was actually better than Mica's, but Mica is a very special athlete. Pretty much every takedown that Kenta got, Mica was able to threaten a submission immediately off getting taken down. Mica has shown again that he does not hesitate whenever he gets in certain positions, and he's able to trust his jiu-jitsu no matter where the fight goes. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown, and I'll see you in the next video.